Good evening. I hope you are all good. Yinka, welcome. Nice to have you here. Itunu, welcome. Everybody, welcome. So, welcome to tonight's episode of Through It All. For people that will be joining on YouTube, welcome to the first YouTube, um, Through It All in the month of February. If you are joining Through It All for the first time, Through It All is all about encouragement. It's all about hope. It's all about letting you know that life can actually be far better for you now than it is at the moment. Of course, this year's Through It All, we are concentrating on um, principles, principles that makes things to happen. We have spoken so much in the last 3, 4 years on Through It All, people sharing their stories. So this year we're going to concentrate so much on teaching us how some of those things happen, how things work. All right. Um, so people joining Through It All for the first time, Through It All is about the story of my life, and the program, the name was derived from my book, Through It All. All right. So if you've not read the book, just visit tia.com.ng. You can download the soft copy or order for the hard copy. Is that okay? All right. So let me say specially to every one of us, Happy New Month. Welcome to the second month in the year 2024. Um, there is a very special month to me. It's the month that I got wedded, or we got wedded. I got wedded to my wife February 1994. So this year makes it 30 years that we've been together through the thick, through the thin, through it all. We've been together, and the Lord has really been very faithful unto us. All right, so because it's a month that good things happen to me, and even the first day of the month, I've actually been to a particular university in Ondo State to deliver convocation lecture. So the year is starting on a very glorious note. The month rather is starting on a glorious note. And I prophesy to every one of us that this month will favor you. There was a particular time in the life of David. He carried basket. His father told him to go and check his brothers at the battlefield. And he went there. And while he was there, of course, he delivered the basket, and the father said, "Get what from your brothers? Let me know how the battle is going on over there." All right, so that was what David planned to do. But it was at the moment he got to the camp that Goliath actually started lambasting the Israelite army, cursing them, cursing their God. And, this young boy that never fought any war before was the one that said, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine defiling the armies of the Lord?" And the next thing he was asking is that, so what would the king do for anyone that defeats this guy? And they were telling him, "Oh, the king will give that person his daughter to marry. The family of such person will be exempted from taxes in Israel." And to cut the long story short, David confronted Goliath. David defeated Goliath. this same David, he cut off the head of Goliath. This was a giant that has harassed the army of Israel for 40 days. 40 days. And one young boy that was not even carrying any armor of war, wasn't carrying any weapon, used his sling and stone to fall a giant. And suddenly, they started singing of the praise of David. It says Saul has killed his 1,000, David has killed 10,000. And the news of this boy went from the battlefield right there to the city of Jerusalem, all over. Everybody started hearing about one boy called David, the son of Jesse. So at the end of the day, this young boy that they said, go and get news from the battlefield, he ended up becoming the news coming out of the battlefield. So I want to just prophesy to every one of us this month of February, the Lord will make ways for you where you don't think it will happen. Situations and circumstances will work together for your good, and the Lord will begin to honor you. The Lord will begin to promote you. The Lord will begin to lift you up. David did not go there to fight battle. It was just to deliver food, and it became the news. So God will make you the news. You've always been reading the newspaper and you are reading other people's news, but God is going to make you the news, and it's going to be a good news, and it's going to be a glorious news. And many people will say, so whose son is this? That was what he was asking David. Whose son is this? Whose daughter is this? In fact, at first they didn't know the name, they didn't know the name of the father of David before he fought Goliath. But after he defeated Goliath and killed him, suddenly everybody, the name of his father came out. His name is David, the son of Jesse. In fact, his brothers are in this army. All right, so I just pray, I prophesy to you. That's what God will do to you. He will be lifting you up. He will give you a great name and make you a blessing unto many in the name of the Lord Jesus. All right, so once again, thank you for joining through it all tonight. Of course, the plan is that we are going to continue with strategies for success in business. Strategies for success in business. May it occur to me tonight that to share a video with us. And after sharing the video, I'm going to ask us to analyze that video. So you're going to release your mic and share whatever you see in that video. All right. Some of us might have watched it before. Some of us, maybe this is your first time. Even if you have watched the video before, it doesn't matter. I'm so sure you will still be blessed. And I'm sure you're going to learn one or two lessons from this video. So we are going to analyze it, and then I will crown the whole thing after we've all spoken. All right. So the title of the film is "Who Moved My Cheese?" Who moved my cheese? After you watch it, then we'll analyze it together. All right, is that okay? Okay. Please let me know if
that cheese, where is it?
Let me know if you
move that cheese, why is it gone?
Is it audible enough? Please just let me get your chat.
So snip it out, let's find it. Get something better and stir along.
Gonna get me some of that new cheese. Gonna get something better. Well, who moved that cheese? Where is it? Who moved that cheese? Why is it gone?
Gonna get some.
Who moved that cheese? Where is it? Who moved that cheese? Why is it gone?
Once long ago, in a land far away, there were 4 little characters that lived in a maze.
2 were mice named Sniff and Scurry.
And 2 were little people, the size of mice. Their names were Hem and Haw.
As different as the mice and little people were, they shared one thing in common. Each morning, they put on their running shoes and raced into the maze to look for their favorite cheese. Cheese being whatever was most important to them, what nourished them and made them happy.
For Sniff and Scurry, cheese was just cheese. But for Hem and Haw, cheese was more than just having something to eat. Finding it was a way of getting what they thought they needed. To them, cheese represented having security, or good health, or material things, or whatever they believed would make them happy.
For Haw, cheese meant living in a beautiful cottage with a loving family on Cheddar Lane.
To Hem, cheese meant being a big cheese, owning a mansion atop Camembert Hill. Sniff and Scurry had good instincts. Sniff would smell out the general direction of the cheese, and Scurry would race ahead.
But Hem and Haw had complex brains with beliefs and emotions that made finding their way in the maze more complicated and challenging. Rather than trusting their instincts, they relied on guidebooks and maps to help find their way in the maze.
In their own way, all 4 characters discovered what they were looking for. Eventually, each one arrived at Cheese Station C and discovered their own special cheese.
Sniff and Scurry woke early every day and ran the same route through the maze to Cheese Station C.
However, Hem and Haw woke later each day and strolled slowly over to Cheese Station C. After all, they knew where the cheese was and how to get there, and they assumed it would always be there.
This is fabulous. I'm so happy. There's enough cheese here to last us forever.
Hem and Haw put away their running shoes, thinking they wouldn't need them anymore.
They felt very secure in their familiar surroundings. Haw even decorated the walls with sayings.
Having cheese makes you happy.
Hem and Haw became very comfortable in Cheese Station C. They were not paying attention to what was happening around them.
Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry inspected the area each morning. They noticed the changes that were taking place. They kept their running shoes around their necks so they could get to them quickly whenever they needed them again.
One morning, Sniff and Scurry arrived at Cheese Station C and discovered there was no cheese. They were not caught by surprise, since they noticed the supply of cheese had been getting older and smaller. The mice did not overanalyze or complicate things. The situation had changed, so Sniff and Scurry changed. They were soon off in search of new cheese.
Later that day, Hem and Haw arrive and are startled at the sight of an empty Cheese Station C.
What? No cheese? Who moved my cheese? It's not fair.
What'll happen if the cheese isn't here tomorrow? All my plans are based on the cheese being here.
Hem's and Haw's behavior was not very attractive and kept them from succeeding, but it was understandable. Finding cheese wasn't easy, and it meant a great deal more to them than just having enough of it to eat every day.
While Sniff and Scurry had changed, Hem and Haw continued to, well, hem and haw.
Hem? Where's Sniff and Scurry? Do you think they know something we don't?
Nah, they're just simple mice. We're little people. We're more complex and smarter. We're entitled to our cheese.
We don't seem to be acting smarter at the moment. Sniff and Scurry are probably in the maze looking for new cheese. Maybe we should simply get going and look for some new cheese, too.
No, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I want things to be just the way they were.
Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry moved further into the maze. They didn't think of anything else but finding new cheese.
After looking in parts of the maze where they had never been before, Sniff and Scurry found the biggest store of cheese they had ever seen.
Meanwhile, Hem and Haw were still trying to figure out what was happening.
Then Haw began to imagine himself out in the maze, finding fresh new cheese. Before long, he could almost taste it.
Come on, Hem, let's go. We've got to change and enjoy something better.
No way. It might be dangerous out there in the maze. I like it here. I'm comfortable. You'll see. Someday things will be just the way they were.
Like him, Ha focused on what he was losing. His vision of finding new cheese and gaining something better faded.
So every day, him and Ha went from their homes to cheeseless Station C and returned home again with empty bellies, full of nothing but stress. They tried to deny the change that had happened, but found it more and more difficult. Their homes were not the nurturing places they once were.
You know, if we just try harder, maybe we'll discover the cheese is still here.
So him and Ha worked longer hours, but still they did not find their cheese. Ha was beginning to realize how hard they were working without success.
Then Ha lived up to his name.
Look at us.
What are you laughing at? They moved our cheese and you think this is funny?
Oh, Hem, we keep doing the same things over and over again, and we wonder why things don't get better. Now that's funny.
Who moved my cheese? Who moved my cheese?
Hem, it's time for us to find something better.
You're not really going out into the maze again, are you? Why don't we just wait here until they put the cheese back?
They're never going to put the cheese back. That was yesterday's cheese. It's time for us to find some new cheese. Now, where did we put our running shoes?
What if there's no cheese out there? Or what if you can't find it? Or
Well, I don't know, Hem. But imagine how much we would enjoy some new cheese.
No, I don't want to go into the maze.
Well, I don't either. But let's face it. If we don't change, we could become extinct.
Extinct? Who moved my cheese? Who moved my cheese? Who moved my cheese? Who...
Then Ha wrote on the wall what he had been thinking about for some time.
What would you do if you weren't afraid? It's maze time. Time for new cheese.
Then Ha jogged into the unknown. He soon realized the unexpected can happen.
Oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Ha picked himself up and got back on course.
Being back in the maze isn't nearly as bad as I feared. How did I get into that situation at Cheese Station C? I should have followed my instincts and changed a lot sooner. If I'd been watching what was happening... Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old. Why do I feel so good? I don't have any cheese, and I don't know where it is. When you stop being afraid, you feel good.
I feel so good, so very good.
I'm not afraid anymore.
The more clearly Ha imagined himself finding new cheese and enjoying it, the more real it became, in his mind and his heart, and the more it made good sense to him.
Imagining myself enjoying my new cheese even before I find it leads me to it.
Finally, Ha arrived at large Cheese Station E, but he found it was practically empty.
No matter how hard I try. Oh, I guess I'm just too late. If only I had changed sooner, I might have found a lot of new cheese here.
Ha did find several delicious morsels of cheese. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep him going.
I've got to go back to him and let him know there's some new cheese out here.
Ha followed his handwriting on the wall, back to Cheese Station C.
Oh, Ham, you look terrible. Here, have a few bits of new cheese I found in the maze.
No, I don't think I would like new cheese. I want my own cheese back. I want things to be the way they were.
It's safer to search in the maze, Ham, than remain in a cheeseless situation.
Ha now knew that his friend Ham's negative thoughts robbed him of his confidence. Ha remembered how good he felt when he was away from such thinking while searching for new cheese in the maze.
Will he ever change? I guess Ham believes he can't or won't enjoy new cheese.
Ha had changed his own beliefs. He knew that change wasn't always good or necessary. Ha used to believe that his cheese should never be moved and that sudden change wasn't right. Now he realized that most change didn't happen all of a sudden and that it could lead to something better. He now knew it was good to go into the maze to find new cheese.
When you change what you believe, you change what you do.
Ha found bits of cheese here and there. He hoped that Hem might see the need for change and find his way through the maze by reading the handwriting on the wall and follow the markings Ha left for him. He kept hoping his good friend would change.
Now Ha had let go of the past and was adapting to the present. He was pursuing his sensible vision, seeing himself finding new cheese. And then, one day it happened.
Piled high everywhere was the largest and most delicious-looking supply of new cheese Ha had ever imagined.
Wow! New cheese! Is it real or just my imagination? Hey, it is real! New cheese was out here all the time, just waiting for somebody to find it.
As Ha enjoyed his new cheese, he reflected on what he had learned from his journey through the maze. He wrote on the wall of Cheese Station N,
Change happens. They keep moving the cheese. Anticipate change. Get ready for the cheese to move. Monitor change. Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old. Adapt to change quickly. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese. Enjoy change. Savor the adventure and enjoy the taste of new cheese. Be ready to quickly change and enjoy it again. They keep moving the cheese. Change and win. Move with the cheese. I wonder if Ham will ever read the handwriting on the wall. Will he ever change and win?
Ha knew it would be easy for him to slip back to his old ways if he got too comfortable. So each day he inspected Cheese Station N to check the condition of his cheese. He went out into the maze and explored new areas. He knew it was smarter to be aware of what was going on around him rather than to isolate himself in his comfort zone. Then Ha heard a sound of movement out in the maze. Could it be Hem? Ha hoped, as he had many times before, that his friend was finally able to
Move to the new cheese and enjoy it. Or is it a new beginning?
Who moved that cheese? Where is it? Who moved that cheese? Why is it gone?
All right. Okay. Thank you for taking that journey with me. And that's a movie, even though it's a cartoon, that I can watch, if possible, every day, because there are always lessons to learn. All right, so we are going to be sharing now. If you just joined, sorry, you may not understand what we are saying. What I will do, I will share the link to the YouTube version of that video, so you can watch it. Even when you are not here, you can still follow up with it. Now, I want every one of us to talk. I want us to share. So if you think there are lessons in the video that you just watched and you want to share with us what the lessons are, please let me just see your hand. Just raise up your hand and I will ask you to unmute. If there are lessons that you have learned in this, all right. Kingsley, I can see Kingsley's hand. All right. So Kingsley, I've asked you to unmute. So what do you want to share with us? What have you found out?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Kingsley. How are you today?
Yes, sir. I'm fine, sir. All right. So for the like I've watched this, and I watched it before now, and I find it very very interesting and enlightening. Like you said, it's just maybe it's just a cartoon or just an anime, just a story, but it's much more than that. So for me, the main thing that I learned for all he right from time, even when they were together, when they noticed that the cheese has been moved, immediately first, I mean, the cheese has been moved. Let's go, let's try to do something else. But M keep holding him down, telling him to wait. Things were going to go back the way they were. Even while they were waiting, he kept he kept asking questions. He was never comfortable. He kept asking questions. What about Corey and Steve as Corey? Have they found another cheese? They're not here, and he kept imagining go back. For him, he wanted to move. He was ready to move. So that also means that when we should also mind the kind of company we keep, the kind of people we listen to, that we spend time with. That because those people can either push us to be great or hold us down. So it was like he would have moved earlier. He would have left the that first place earlier and started looking for cheese, but the new cheese. But M kept keeping him there because M was comfortable there, and M also want them to remain while they wait for or while they dig the wall, break the wall to look for other cheese. So yeah, so mindset is very good. It's good to have a positive mindset and growth mindset. And when he left, even when he fell into the pit for the first time, when he fell into that pit, he would have easily run back and say, "Oh, I think M was right. To I should go back. There's trouble outside." But yet, he took it because of that positive mindset. He took it and it began to watch his steps, so he would not fall into another hole. And so, while he even found when he even found the cheese, the new he found some crumbs of cheese. He went back because of the good that positive and good mindset. He went back. It was not selfish. He was not keeping to himself. He went back to call M, but M was far. Let me say far gone. He was just he could not. He was in a place that he could no longer like it was let's say it was what is the word now, but it was just in a place that it was not redeemable. Let me use that word. So he felt like okay, since that's the case,
All right. Thank you so much,
he left.
Kingsley.
So
Okay.
still on
You
that
still have
positive mind.
another point?
All right, sir.
No, do you
Yeah, I
still have
said so based
another
on that.
one?
Yes. So I said based on that positive mindset, even when he found the cheese, he was no longer comfortable. He has learned that the cheese will keep moving. So instead of though he still have a lot of cheese, but instead he still went ahead while there's cheese to look for other opportunities so that he will not be caught unaware in case of next time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kingsley. Thank you so much. I can hear you saying positive mindsets. And then, of course, when he found the new cheese, it was no more a comfort zone. He kept on measuring and wanting to be sure um, that these things are okay. He never wanted Hall. What I mean, yes, he's Hall. Never wanted what happened to the first cheese station to happen to him again. So thank you, thank you. All right, please let me see all the hands, or I will just call names. Yinka Shobo, let me know what you can really sieve out of this video. So Yinka, I'm going to unmute you now.
Good evening, Daddy. Good evening, family.
Good evening, Yinka. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm fine, sir. Yeah. One of the highlights of the video the illustration for me was at the point of the complacency that him and her has initially, because while after they found the cheese, I think they just relaxed. They believe that at a point he said this cheese can last us for years. So I just felt, for me, it rang a bell that one can, if one is not careful, if we got into a thing, especially in business, and you just felt that since this business is booming, when there is need for change, one might not see it. And I think that was what happened to BlackBerry and Nokia initially, before Nokia bounced back a little. We have not heard of BlackBerry again. I think that was what affected them. And, because they were the major, BlackBerry then was the major operating, the major OS, their phone. It was a big deal then, but they were nowhere to be found again when Android came. So for me, apart from many other.
All right, Yinka, thank you so much. At least the main thing that you stressed was the issue of complacency, thinking that it would always be like this, nothing will change. All right. Your
Hello,
internet.
sir. Okay, sir.
Yes. Okay, Yinka.
Oh,
Your
okay.
internet.
You couldn't hear me, sir.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah.
So were you adding something to what you said before?
And not really. I was just saying that it just made me to have a rethink that I can't be complacent or just feel that since this thing is fine now, it will always be fine. It might not always be fine. So when it is not fine, it will not it will not be an issue if I am prepared for it. So we should always be on our guard, like a soldier on the field.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Yinka. It got to a point that Hem and Ho, they actually they removed their shoes and threw it away and felt like we won't ever need these shoes again. Where do we want to run to? We've run and we found this cheese station, and it will never run out. All right. So the only thing that is constant in life is change. If you're running your business, know that the only thing that will happen to your business is change. All right. Thank you, Yinka. I'm not seeing any other hand up. Please, I need like 3 more people to talk, and then what principles can you learn in this? So who is talking next? Sorry if you are just joining. We watched a movie titled Who Moved My Cheese? Some of you might have watched it before. Maybe this is your first time. We are trying to bring out the principles or the lessons from the video. All right, I can see Itunu here. So Itunu, I'm going to unmute you now. What did you get out of the video?
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I think the major highlight of the video for me was when O was after he had changed his mind to go further in search of more cheese, and along the way it was not really, I think there was a place he stumbled and fell or something, and he picked himself up and he was going. And then at a point he was dancing. He was like, I have not even seen the cheese, but I'm happy. There's no cheese, but I'm happy. And he just teach me, I mean, you are trying to achieve something new. The mindset to carry at every point in time matters a lot. Like he had not even seen a cheese, but because in his mind he had changed his mind, he was not like, or again trying to okay, I think this is okay. Sorry, I got distracted. So so the fact that he was very happy about even exploring something, even though he was facing challenges, he had not seen the cheese. He still kept moving on and he was happy. So our mindset in trying to get onto something new, the mindset to carry matters a whole lot. So that was what I got. Thank
All
you, sir.
right, so the mindset, that's the second person talking about mindset. And you know, when you've not seen something and then you're already rejoicing. That's what the Bible calls faith. Substance of things hoped for, evidence of things unseen. And sincerely speaking, if you're running any business, faith plays a major role in your business. Just believing that, oh, something is about to happen. He didn't get anything, but he started singing, I feel good, you know? And of course, the first question is like, so what would you stop doing? I mean, if you are not afraid. All right. Okay, so I need two more, and then I will just add some to this, and we close for the day. Do I call two names again? Captain Ho, do you want to get involved, sir? Hello, Captain Ho. Sorry, you can mute now. All right. You can go ahead and unmute. Hello, Captain Ho, are you still with us? All right, I'll get back to you. All right, Sister Ify, let me unmute you. At what point did you join us, Sister Ify Emmanuel? Please, if you want to talk, just raise up your hand. If not, I'm trying to release your mic. I will share the link to the video with us so that you can, please just click the raising hand icon, and then I will release your mic. Sorry, who is the Esther here? Let me ask Esther to share with us. Esther, do you want to share with us? Hello, can you hear me? Let me be sure everybody can still hear me. Can you hear me? Please let me know. All right, so, all right, Jesse said, I also believe that mindset helps a lot, positive mindset. Personally, I have been very discouraged in business because I put so much effort and I don't get what I aim for. And I agree with Daddy that faith plays a very key role in business. Positive mindset and faith in God, persistence, also not giving up. All right, thank you. All right, so I'm going to release Peter's mic. All right, Peter, you can unmute and let's get your point. Please go ahead. Hello, Peter. I've unmute. Yeah. Hello, Peter. Okay. I can see your hand. I've asked you to.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Okay, good evening, sir. And good evening, everyone in the room.
Good evening,
Although I came a bit late to the party, but I've read and seen the video in the past, so I feel I can contribute to the collective thoughts already being shared so far regarding the video.
Okay.
So some things are striking for me when it comes to who moved my cheese. And one of the things is that I feel initially Hem and Haw did not understand the nature of cheese. Because if they had understood the nature of cheese, they will know that cheese are not permanent, that they are transient by their nature. And knowing the nature of the things you deal with, you will be better prepared for it and for some of the circumstances that emanate from dealing with it and from handling it. So that is a very important lesson for us to always study the nature of the things we interact with, the circumstances that we interplay with, so that when we can always detect the change mood and the change parameters, and we can easily follow through along as well. So that's one of the lessons. And then also, we would something again that struck my attention, that always struck my attention when it comes to who moved my cheese, is the fact that Haw charted a course after he had identified the new cheese stations and all the adventure that he took towards it. You know, when there's a saying that you always try to climb on the shoulder of giants. So those are people that have gone before you, that have done some of the things that you want to do, and you want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that they have made. And that's where when we read books of people that we didn't live their life, but they were generous enough to iterate them in books, we learn their lessons and also understand what they went through and the mentality that went through all the things that they had to go through to be where they are. So charting that course was a generous act, because perhaps if he didn't chart that course, perhaps the whole point of the Who Moved My Cheese book wouldn't have even been made if Hem did not eventually chart those courses at different points, so as to encourage some, because he knows that because cheese, in the nature of cheese, he could still reappear in the first station where they had gone for another person. But because for them, that was in the past. So he understood that somebody is going to be in the state that they found themselves, and he needed to direct the person to the right path that they have to take. So these two lessons really strike out for me in the book Who Moved My Cheese. And I also heard somebody say positive mindset. Yeah, definitely. That also helps because at the end of the day, it is that positivity that led her to see what's on the other side of the book. And having seen what's on the other side of the book, he was able to make the move.
Yeah.
So these are really, really interesting lessons from the book. And thank you for always sharing it, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. All right, just one more person now. So let me see your hand up. Thank you, Peter. One more hand now, and all right. Okay, so Captain Ho. All right, let me try again. All right.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Sorry about the last time. My system just froze, so I couldn't quite make any comments. Can you hear me okay, though?
Very well, Captain Ho.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the video you shared, and thank you everyone for being part of this. Just a few thoughts, even though the who moved my cheese just makes it appear as if life is so simple, very easy. Just have positive mindset, and then the dollar rate will come down again, and all those kind of things, So, but just a few thoughts. One of the things, even from the top, from the title of the book and of the video, one of the things I thought is that, like, who moved my cheese? Cheese that you did not put there. It has now become your own, that kind of a thing. So there's that sense of entitlement and sense of thing that we have generally to life, when really we should hold things lightly. That's part of my own attitude, hold things lightly and just trust as you move from place to place, God opens channels for you, opportunities for you, and all of. But sometimes we feel we hold things so tightly, and then when God is probably opening other things for us, we have held too tightly to the place where we be. And then, of course, the only way we can learn is for everything to be taken away, and then we can start afresh. So it's just one of those thoughts in my mind. And then you talked about faith, and when you look at, especially within our own context and our own environment, it's impossible. And I don't know whether positive mindset is enough to deal with, the changes, the rate of changes that are taking place in our country. You just have to have an anchor of some sorts, whether you're in business or you're just a normal human being. You just have to have something that helps you not to despair, something that ensures that you are not going to give up or give in, regardless of the quantum of changes and things that are happening. And for me, the final comment I want to make is just nimbleness. Like you talked about how they hung their boots or something. In all of life, we just have to be nimble. We just have to be ready to adapt, ready to make a move, ready to, to grow, ready to learn, ready to, because there's nobody that can anticipate all the changes that are going to take place, no matter how insightful or visionary that you may be. You can't anticipate all of it. And so, yeah, we talk about BlackBerry, we talk about Nokia. Look, every business, Apple will soon become obsolete at some point in time. So it's just normal course of life, right? But what's important is that I feel as individuals and as businesses, we just have to learn to be nimble. We look at what is happening. How quickly can we respond to the change? And just something simple. So if you have a business today, look at the rate at which prices are changing. So how do you respond to that? How do you deal with that? Are you going to transfer everything to your customer? Are you even supply chain? Some of the materials that you're using are not available. What do you do? And stuff like that. So again, just we have to be thinking in terms of all the range of possibilities, and not just bury our head in the sand and think that, oh, things are going to be okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Captain Ho. I really appreciate this. Of course, sense of entitlement. Who moved my cheese? As if it was the one that put it there. They stumbled on it. So when did they become yours? So we need to be very careful. The things we are, that attachment. And that's what I think Captain Ho was talking about. All right. Sorry about that. I think the internet just shifted. All right. So please, Captain O was talking about sense of entitlement and don't hold on to things so tightly. That attachment is more like the conservatism of him. It's so conservative that he feels this is the way we have always done it. This is where we come every day. And he was searching for the cheese that I never put there, and even drilling holes inside the wall, asking who moved my cheese. All right. So I actually felt that we should discuss this direction today because of the way businesses are. And I tell you one thing that is happening almost on a constant basis around us now, especially in Nigeria, is change. And like Captain Ho said, and what some of us also rightly said, things keep changing around us. If you are not actually ready to change along with change, change will happen to you. And that change, like Hall told Hem, he said, everything, you just go into extinction, everything will just disappear. And the man could not understand it. Change is happening. Of course, for us Christians, we need to keep praying. We need to keep asking questions. We need to keep seeking the face of God. God, what's the next thing? God, what's the next thing? God, what's the next thing? He said, I'm going to instruct you. I will teach you the way you should go. And my eyes will be guiding you. My eyes will watch over you. Another version says, I will lead you in the best pathway for your life. So, as children of God, knowing that change is something that is inevitable, please, there's a time to look up unto God. And you'll be so amazed when you think there is no other way. Then you just see doors opening. You just see things just linking to another thing. You know, there is a story of Isaac in Genesis 26. The Bible said, of course, they moved to Gerar and there was famine, and everybody in Gerar was moving to Egypt. And God told Isaac, no, don't follow them to Egypt. Stay in Gerar. Stay here. And the Bible said that same year, Isaac planted because the instructions of God was with him. And the Bible said that same year, he made 100-fold return. That same place where everybody was running away from. You understand? So please, now than ever before, you need God. And you know the interesting thing? Check the background of Abraham's lineage. Abraham, even all unto to Jacob and his sons, their primary jobs was that they were shepherds. That's the primary thing they do. But in Genesis 26, I don't know what happened to livestock business that Isaac might have inherited from his father. But this time around, God told him, move into crops. And these are the ways, if you are not holding on to whatever and say, no, this is the only thing that I've always known, and this is how I will always do it. Just one design. You know, when Ford started coming up with his car, it was just one design, one color. And everybody was saying, change the design, change color. He said, I've forgotten how he said it. He said, yes, I'll give you in other colors, and those colors will still be black. And when other car manufacturers, when they started coming up with variety of colors and variety of models, they overtook Ford because it was not anticipating change. And one of the ways you anticipate change is that what are your customers saying? What are your customers asking for? Are you ready to change? Are you ready to give them what they are asking for? All right. So part of the lessons I wrote down here, complacency, please know. This year, if you are complacent, change will happen, and change may sweep you off. God forbid. And then, of course, the confidence, that overconfidence, that they were just so sure things will always be fine. Nobody's going to take away the cheese. Please, you need to be very careful. You need to be very careful. No matter the business you are doing, no overconfidence. Instead, keep studying. Snip and Scurry, those were mice. And these guys, the little guys, felt those guys they don't understand anything. They are the ones that understand things. And that's the way some of us always talk. Your competitors are finding other ways to do the same business you are doing. They are already scaling. They are doing other things to make it work. But you are still holding on to the fact that, no, they can't be smarter than us. More especially people like us that maybe you pioneered your industry or the business. There is a tendency for you to get complacent and think, no, what can they do to overtake us? We taught them everything they know. You just discover that you have just made a serious mistake if you follow that path. One thing that also did was you will see him, he first imagined another cheese station. It was when he imagined it, and then he started laughing and said, yes, let's go back to the maze. The power of vision. And this time, please receive visions from God, not just getting visions at the end of the day. You are pursuing what you should not. All right. And of course, always thinking that things will always remain the same. I've said that it won't work. And here I said analog mindset instead of digital. Some of us still want to do business the analog way. I remembered when the earliest stage of my business, of course, we were told these are the normal ways you advertise your business. So we're advertising in the papers, we were advertising on the radio, but things were not just coming. It was not happening as fast as we expected it to happen. I'm so sure it was just God that made us to discover LinkedIn. And we discovered that the people we've been sending proposals to had proposed, and somebody at the reception is not passing it on to the human resources department. We discovered that all the human resources managers and directors, they are on LinkedIn. And so LinkedIn was now the in thing for us. Discussing with HR managers, HR personnel, HR directors, letting them know the things we do. And surprisingly, we started getting a lot of requests for our proposals, even right from LinkedIn. And they were not even asking for hard copy of our proposals. It was a soft copy. And it just kept on going on and on and on and on. So if at all we are doing any of the traditional way of advertising, it was just because we needed to keep that going on. A lot of work was going on the social media, more especially LinkedIn, and it was working. So please, you need to be very careful what you are doing. Of course, be strategic always. What or did was I was strategic. He was very strategic. He just knows that if we found this cheese station, there must be another one somewhere. And he entered into the maze, and he asked a question that almost every one of us should ask ourselves. Many of us are too afraid to take steps. Even when God tells you what to do, some of us can't just even encourage ourselves to say, let's move on. Some of us overanalyze. What if we perish? What if that's fail? What if this? You remember that in the process of going back to the maze, he actually fell into a pit. And I tell you, he got up and he kept on running. And the next time he was going to go by that hole, he remembered that he fell here. So he moved to the other side. And I tell people, please, falling is part of the process. Failing in a thing at a junction is part of the process. If you don't want to fail, if you don't want to fall, you will not try anything. And if you don't try anything, you're not going to move. You're not going to change. All right. I hope we are learning and of course anticipate change, adapt to change quickly, change and win. Your team can pull you back or push you forward. And that was a problem that Hem had. Hem was not going to move. Even when all came back to say, come, let's go. It was too conservative, and it was too proud even to accept that it needed to change. Please don't let that be your portion. So if you are going to succeed in business this year, the first thing you should anticipate is change. And the second thing that keeps happening around us is that things keep evolving. Technology keeps changing the game. It keeps changing how things were, how we used to do things in those days. How can you embrace technology? Can technology work in what you do? Instead of you going the manual way, why don't you go the way of tech? And then AI came along, and AI is changing the game. AI is changing the game. AI has come to almost times 10 whatsoever technology can do for you. So please start studying all these things. How can you leverage on them in your business? How can you make things go far in your business? In those days when you want to buy books, you must go to a bookshop. But suddenly, books became soft copies, and those can't be put in any bookshop. And you can see many people changing. So now you have online bookshops. You can buy your book, then it's shipped to you. Anybody that keeps saying that, no, my father handed over this bookshop to me, I will hand it over to my son. Of course, they will discover that they keep opening the doors and nobody is coming the way they used to come when bookshop was the in thing. You understand? So please keep sniffing around for the change happening. That's why you have a guy called Sniff and the other is Corey. So Sniff, we sniff out, so what is changing around me? And the other can keep running to show us, okay, this is the path to change, to go, because this change is happening, something is changing here, so let's move. All right, so you need to do a lot of that this year. You need to do a lot. The last thing I'm going to say is you creating system in your organization. This year, you need to have a system. More especially, some of us, that you do your business, maybe it's a one-man business or a one-woman business, and you are the everything in that business. You are the CEO, you are the everything. Businesses don't grow if it's just revolving around you. And if at all you are going to do marketing, you will discover that you are doing marketing that is just enough for me alone to keep coping with this business. You need to scale from it's just only me to creating systems that will make you to be able to grow. Business grow when it's not only you, when you allow others to take care of things. In economics, um, division of labor, Adam Smith was giving us instances when the ladies doing pin, every one of them, they give them the number of pins to do per day. And so everybody was doing all the process from start to the end. And so maybe like 20 pins per day was what each person was doing. But they decided to change the style and said, no, why don't we introduce specialization? Why don't we introduce division of labor? Let somebody melt the pin, let another one straighten the pin, let another one put maybe the cap on it, let another one box it, let another one do it. And they discovered that the same people that have been doing maybe 20 units per day, they started doing almost 2,000 per day, because now it's not just one person. Everyone is doing a part of that thing. You may want to introduce that change to your business. For some of us, it's you that does everything. You are the alpha and the omega of your business. No, nobody else knows how to do it like you. No, you need to start training fresh hands. Unfortunately, that's what used to happen in those days. When the owner of the business dies, the business dies with that person, because you're not training other hands. The owner may not even die. It may be that the owner grew old and retired. And so the business also grew old and retired with the owner. Please, you need to start changing things this year. All right, so I think I would stop here tonight. I don't want to go beyond this point. If you have any question or you have any contribution, we just take two. Please let me see your hands. Just two. Either questions or contributions, and I will take that and we call it a day. Is anybody raising the hand? If I'm not saying, I will believe that you've understood the things I've said. Any question anywhere? Or you want to type it? All right, so there is none coming. I just want to believe that somebody has learned one or two things from tonight's session. If you joined us late, I've sent the link to you. If you need me to send it to your WhatsApp, please just send a message to me and I'll forward to your WhatsApp. All right, so thank you so much for joining Through It All tonight. We've shared some principles that can guide your business from watching the movie Who Moved My Cheese. If you have watched it before, please watch it again this year and let it guide you in all you do. All right, so thank you, everyone. Through It All is coming up next week. I'll be bringing a guest that will share her story. I will conclude with that, and we'll share the flyers in the course of next week. So thank you, everyone. If you've not read through it all, visit tia.com.ng, download it, the soft copy, or you order for the hard copy. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for your time. I don't take it for granted. Have a good night. Bye.